Hello guys. Welcome to my channel, Jura Tempest Federation. To quick warning, this video contains spoilers from light novel. This video continuation of the previous video, Genius Masayuki. If you have not watched it yet, then please watch the link in the description below. But before we proceed further, please like, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell for further updates. Great. Everyone's insight has been helpful. The first floor was converted into a tutorial-style training ground, which also included an announcement system. We set it up to have missions so that adventurers wouldn't be totally clueless coming in. Whether they made use of it or not was up to them. Nothing good came out of forcing stuff upon them. Plus, whatever happened would be their own responsibility. Additionally, we also made it so that you couldn't die on the first floor. There could be adventurers that cause problems, and it would be troublesome if something happened to the employees in charge. Not only that, I also wanted to use the first floor for people to experiment with dying. We set it to resurrect immediately on the spot, so it could also be suitable for a children's playground. We also prepared a room for more experienced adventurers to practice fighting against different kinds of monsters. We captured some monsters and gave them a collar that allowed them to constantly revive. The adventurers could sharpen their skills here. Using the extra space, we also made an area dedicated to training our own recruits. From time to time, it would be fun to catch a large number of monsters for large-scale collective battles. The real dungeons started from the second floor downward. However, we wouldn't be deploying any lethal traps until the fourth floor. There would only be rank E to F lesser monsters roaming the area. The rooms would only have one rank D monster. The treasure chests in them would contain items such as low healing potions, which would be helpful for early labyrinth exploration. High-price items such as gear were set to spawn only on the 5th floor and below. And that pretty much summed up all the adjustments we made to the difficulty. With this, the challengers can pick up the pace of their conquest of the dungeons starting tomorrow. Everything up until now was like a closed beta for a developing game, so it was no surprise that we weren't ready to open the real thing right away. Well, in truth, we already had beta testers. But our testers were 6 of Shion's Yamagiri, which might not have painted an accurate picture. Those guys swept through the first 39 floors without a hitch. Unfortunately, they got annihilated by the 40th floor's boss, the Tempest Serpent. Thanks to that, we got the false impression that the difficulty of the labyrinth was just right. They didn't fall victim to the traps, nor did they struggle against the small fry monsters. I didn't think there would be any problems with the labyrinth difficulty after seeing their performance. Maybe they could even reach the 50th floor with a little bit more experience. Seems like I needed to be more careful when choosing testers. Shion trained them herself and they'd become more exceptional than we could have expected. Well, we can think about all that stuff later. Then, shall we wrap it up here? Are there no other comments or concerns? Even if I was fully satisfied, I still had to make sure everyone else was fine with it, too. A lot of suggestions had already been made, so I thought that was gonna be all for today. However, Meyer Miles suddenly interjected, "Could I say one more thing?" Is there something else? There is. It's about the management of the labyrinth. Is this about the labyrinth's advertisement and fee collection? I definitely was concerned about that part as well. It had only been 3 days, so the profits probably weren't that noticeable, but it seemed like Ramrus also smelled the money. She stared right at Meyer Miles with an avaricious glint in her eyes. She was such a vulgar fairy that it made me laugh. Haha, even if you look at me like that, the fund collection has only just started. The report I will give is related to the advertisement. Meyer Miles smiled bitterly as if he were giving an excuse to Ramrus. Meyer Miles then hardened his expression and began the explanation. I've already come up with an idea of monetary reward to attract the attention of the nobles. How about 100 gold coins? Ho ho. That would only be natural. Of course, Meyer Miles interjected. The payment will instead be in the form of 1 stellar gold coin. At least, that's my plan. Meyer Miles had already read my intentions and was planning accordingly. I learned one thing from my mistake before. He thought of converting the stellars to just regular gold coins for the sake of liquidity. As far as I knew, even just 100 gold coins should be nearly 10 million Japanese yen. But isn't that too low? It might have been a lot of money for an average Joe, but it was hardly enough to convince a noble. Of course, the labyrinth had more to offer than 100 gold coins. Rare drops from treasure chests, magic crystal, etc., but I didn't think we should be relying on those alone. Meyer Miles answered my doubts with a reassuring smile. Yoo-hoo, those doubts are natural. I will advertise that this reward will go to those who beat the 50th floor. Only the first set of teams every month can claim this prize. If it's just one person, then he or she will get everything. If they have a party, then the reward will be split. However, there's more to it. According to Meyer Miles' explanation, each boss monster would drop a reward when subjugated. The 10th floor's guardian was a rank B black spider. If you subjugated this one, then the first 5 teams would get a reward of 3 gold coins. On the 20th floor was the rank B plus evil centipede. It was a fairly strong monster that could spew a long range and potent paralyzing breath. If you subjugated this, the first 5 teams would get a reward of 5 gold coins. We placed a rank B plus ogre lord and his 5 subordinates on the 30th floor. They differed from Benimaru and his clan in the sense that they were brutal monsters that acted only on instinct. They possessed tremendous strength and were capable of coordination. Since you would be battling against a group of monsters, fighting them would be difficult without a team. The reward for beating them was 10 gold coins. The same first 5 team policy applied as well. And from here on out it genuinely became difficult. The 40th floor had the Tempest Serpent, which was rank A-. This guy had a lethal ranged attack called Poison Breath that was capable of instantly annihilating naive parties. Seriously, beating this guy would prove no easy feat, even for an A-ranked adventurer like Guy. The reward was 20 gold coins. Only the first 3 teams could claim it, but only very few people would be able to beat it and survive. The job as the 50th floor's boss was scheduled to be handled by Gozer and Mezer on a rotating basis. They had evolved beyond rank A, so those who could take them down were quite limited. If you broke through the 50th floor, then you would receive 100 gold coins. It was a much more substantial award, but that's to be expected if you looked at the difficulty. I see. Seems like a fair distribution. If we advertised it like this, would we be able to spark the competitive spirits of the nobles? It's exactly like that. We can fuel their competitive drive even further by announcing the subjugators each month. Since the reward is only limited for the first time, the same person can't receive the reward multiple times. This can avoid causing excessive competition. I see. If they could only claim it once, there wouldn't be a point in obsessing over fighting the bosses of the prizes. We could also prevent the same people from monopolizing the monthly rewards. Since the amount of people that could receive the reward were limited each month, we could calculate it as a fixed business expense. Then, can we adjust the profit margins? No problem. I've calculated based on the sales of our first 3 days of running the labyrinth. We may even raise the prize money a bit. The prize money would only be a small part of our actual profit. We were merely trying to incite the participants' competitiveness and their willingness to try their luck. Our balance wouldn't be at a loss anyways, so this was a great strategy. Someone breaking through the 50th floor seemed like a distant future for the time being. With that in mind, the money we would have to distribute was rather trivial. If push comes to shove, we could ask Masayuki-sama to break through the 50th floor, and to promote the labyrinth, but what? With Masayuki-sama it's only a matter of time. Fufu, as expected of Meyer Miles, he was proactive with these things. He seemed to have made a plausible plan, so let's go with that. It's a plan. We could spread Masayuki's fame and also advertise the dungeon at the same time. We should look out for a time when the mainstream meta becomes stagnant and begin that operation then. I was thinking that as well. As expected of Rimuru-sama. Kufufu. It's nothing really, Meyer Miles-kun. Mfufu. I laughed with Meyer Miles as I was satisfied. Excuse me, what about my opinion? Masayuki wanted to say something, but I pretended that I didn't hear it.
That's it for today, guys. See you in next one. For further more update, please like, share, and subscribe. And do not forget to push notification bell.